Welcome to 2023. It's Hazel. Oh, sorry, forgot the light. It's Hazel, and just a couple of announcements. This is my first video of the new year. If you saw my last video, you may remember that I sprained my right wrist in mid-December. Then it was Christmas. Then a few days after Christmas, we headed on a road trip south into the States to visit my son and his family. Just got back yesterday, and you know what that's like. Unpack a suitcase, get the laundry done, restock the fridge, and of course, sort through the purchases. So I intend to do a series of haul videos, not because there's so much, but because I think some of these things deserve little more than just a passing flash of attention. So this is a combination video in the sense that from our location to our destination, it was a 2-day road trip with some pretty long days. And I think a total of about 18 or 19 hours, not counting breaks. So what I had done was last year, as part of my Christmas wish list, I got a number of these retro lady stickers. And, well, I guess I didn't save one with it. It had a fairly wide white border, and I didn't like that. So these are the ones I fussy cut at home. And they're all mixed up, but there were probably 5 or 6 sets based on, like there's a wedding one, and the rest are based on color families. So I had way more to cut. So I took those along on the trip, along with a pair of tiny scissors. And by that time I was able to, use my right wrist again. And, but of course I didn't do that in the car, because half these girls would be amputees if that were the case, because, roads aren't that incredibly smooth. This I did, in the evening or just as I was visiting with the family. So that was done. Now coming home, okay, of course I had got some books in a book haul. And so these two were kind of accessible to me. You can imagine, I don't know if you've ever seen a clown car, you would not believe how packed this car was. And my daughter and husband did the team driving, and I was the one covered with stuff in the back. Sometimes when you leave home and you're sleeping on new pillows, whether it's in a hotel or somebody's house, you find that, kind of, not very conducive to a good sleep. So if I had a nickel for every time my husband bought pillows when we were somewhere away from home, I'd have probably, 50 cents or so. Anyway, this package, and it just shows how resourceful we have to be when we're away from our usual stuff. This package had a pair of, king-size pillowcases in it. So, of course, I'm not about to throw that out. And it turned out that that was a pretty good place to stash things as I deconstructed these 2 books on the ride home. So you can see that I've saved all kinds of bits of stuff here. So this first book is a book on orchids, and you can see that it's been deconstructed. Now, I had to make some decisions. Am I going to use all of these full-page lovely photos to make envelopes or pouches or whatever? Or am I going to use them for collage, or am I going to chop up the backside and fussy cut around these images? So in order to, holy cow, there are a lot of these. Maybe that's the end of them. These are sort of borderline useful. Hot pink. Got this book, by the way, for $2 at an antique flea market. So these pages are sort of semi-useful. This one, I don't know, maybe not that attractive, so I'll probably end up fussy cutting those. Anyway, so I had pages that I set aside because the jury is still out and who knows what I'll end up doing with them. So there's quite a few of those. In fact, it might be all of this whole pile. Yeah, these are all full pagers. So, even in a moving car, oh, and these are the tiny scissors that I had along for fussy cutting. And, oh, I didn't bring them, but you know those Fisker Comfort ones that just have the sort of the lever action? Okay, these are all full page ones that I still can chop up if I choose to. These are the results of what I roughly fussy cut. Now, I'm thinking there were several pages that were images, photos on black, and I'm thinking that's going to be a nice change from fussy cutting with that white rim around, that white edge around photos. So many of those, I clearly wasn't going to try fussy cutting that in a moving vehicle. But I did do, you know, a few hours of work just by, you know, doing these rough cuts around. I'm not going to take the time to sort through every one here, but you can see that there are many on black. There are some that, you know, obviously I would never fussy cut something like that, but they could be, you know, used either in collage or whatever. Big thing like that. Don't know what I'm going to do with that yet, but that pillowcase pouch became the perfect place to try to keep all this together. Because when a vehicle is overloaded and, you know, you need to stop for fuel and bathroom breaks and all of that, it's easy for everything to get sort of out of control. So I just wanted to sort of bring that to your attention because it is possible, as long as you're not the driver, it is possible on a long road trip, or even a short one for that matter, to get some crafting done. Because I kind of had withdrawal symptoms, to be honest, because, again, I was hurt, and because we were away, I wasn't able to do anything in my craft room. This was an atlas that I picked up at that same mall. I was able, even just with scissors, to deconstruct the book. Luckily, both of these books had signatures. And I basically, see, home sweet home. I was able to, I haven't really sorted this, sorry, cut around some images, and I think that's pretty darn good considering, again, that I was in a moving vehicle. Just a very rough sort of, okay, what am I saving for text? You know, clearly I could have thrown this away, but didn't. What, you know, what are sort of graphic images here? What are photos? What is text? Do I want these two images, or do I want to use that as a map page, an atlas page? So these, again, the jury was still out on those. Let me set that aside for a moment. You can see that there was a repeating theme here. So I kept, on these are full page, and these pages are large. I have a ruler here. Oh, by the way, I'm using a new gooseneck phone holder. I'm in a new place in my studio. I have a different light, but I also have, today is not a bright sunny day here, but I do have 3 windows in my studio, and it's midday, so I'm hoping the light level is good. I'm thinking that if I had to zoom, I better not touch this until I get more familiar with it. If I had to zoom, I could, in or out. There are all these full page images that I'm thinking will probably end up as envelopes. Now, there were a lot of these pink-backed charts with stats and columns of numbers and so on. So I have a whole section of those somewhere. Again, because this book was so big, didn't have a lap desk. I had one of the king-size pillows on my lap. I, you know, wasn't able to really sort that carefully. I just kept tucking things in, hoping they wouldn't end up on the floor or accidentally get thrown out with the garbage I was generating. So map pages, full-sized images, full-page images. I would say, let's see, I don't really have a good ruler here, but these pages are, you know, 10 by probably 13.5 or so. So really a good size. And you can see how very many pages are. And of course, another thing that is always a plus in an atlas. Oh, and aren't these great? I made 2 of those because I'm thinking it could be a signature in some small journal. But these pages of index are incredible. So there's all of that. Text. Oh, a lot of okay, here's some of that pink, those pink charts I was talking about. There were a lot of these representing coins for, you know, average income, per capita income, blah, blah, blah. Bar charts as well. So I don't know exactly what I'm going to do with these, but I did try to roughly keep them together. So let's just get rid of that for the time being. Again, I think you get the idea. So don't feel that you can't get anything accomplished if you've left home, because I think with a little creativity, oh, here's more. With a little creativity, a person can definitely, and another one of those, you know, feel like you're keeping your hand in the mix, in the pie. Get some things done so it's not quite a wasted trip, because again, much of the scenery was not that exciting. Sorry, I shouldn't be wasting your time doing this. You clearly get the idea. Then I thought, well, okay, not very imaginative, just cutting stuff out. Why don't I try to make something? Again, things that don't need a great deal of, you know, precision. I wasn't splitting the atom or anything. I was basically trying to find something here. Okay, I made a few of these. So again, the color is great. Whether the sides get sealed up or not, who knows? Don't need to make that decision right at this point. And again, this is fairly big. I just cut the margins off the page off. Here's another one. Tried to pick colorful stuff, whether this gets lined with coffee, you know, some kind of lined paper or coffee dyed paper or not. Again, will depend on what the final intention is. If it's just to create a pouch to stick things into, then obviously I don't need to do anything with the inside. Another pink, more text. I kind of kept some of these borders because I thought, well, they've got some numbers on them, degrees and so on. Again, it's pretty hard to throw anything away, as you probably know. I did make some more stuff, if only I could find it. Okay. And of course I didn't have any glue with me, but I've got some coin envelopes ready to glue. Here's another one. And again, I tried to pick images that could be, you know, fairly neutral or not need too much more to complete them. It's a good way to use up some of those things that may not be particularly attractive or what's the word I'm looking for? Particularly attractive or suitable maybe for... Okay, so here's a tall, skinny one. I really liked the look of these, and of course they were spread over 2 pages. One is wider. You can see I changed my mind about where the fold is, but I can easily cover that, so no one will ever know. Unless, of course, you tell them, and I'm trusting you not to. I made a long, skinny one. And again, I just folded, you know, part of this back to reinforce the edge that will take the most wear and tear. I really liked this. This was a part of the title page. So, you know, there are all kinds of possibilities. You can see this needs some straightening. And it's not going to take much to cover those words if I choose to. Here's another one that is gigantic, and this was cool because it's a reflection. So, in fact, both sides look like they are right side up. More. Maybe these are all photos now. So, we'll call that part a day. Cut out some words as well. This is going to be too lumpy bumpy to close, so I'll just take this out of here so I can show you what else I wanted to combine with this idea that crafting on the road is not impossible. In case you're wondering about this Band-Aid, and I never wear jewelry when I'm doing this stuff. I do own, I do own jewelry. Anyway, today, as I was digging through my purchases and separating them and so on, let's see, I can't see as well. Okay, so we're still more or less in frame. I broke a nail, and of course, I'm way overdue for an appointment with the nail lady, so that's tomorrow. Anyway, we do not have Target in Canada anymore. That was, I guess, a fated attempt when they did have stores here. So I bought some of these, and of course, the price of acrylic stuff is just, you know, in my mind, kind of dumb and very high. But I did buy a few of those because they're clear and they stack and so on. So the next part of this video is going to be sort of the supply type purchases that I got. Now, I do not remember where all of this stuff came from, so forgive me for that. These are 16 pieces of Christmas clear stamps for $1, so deal. These are fabric covered brads. I did go to an art supply place where they accept donations from artists, and I mean, they've got everything from soup to nuts there. Paper, wood, textiles, sewing, fabric, that sort of thing. Jewelry making, like you name it, they've got it. So I got that there. There's one missing, but who cares? Now, I got 6 of these, but who the heck knows where the others have ended up? They're so tiny. I hope they're in the bottom of somebody's box or bag or whatever. But these are cute little charms, tags. They're metal. They are, I could see running ribbon through these, and hopefully the other two show up. I think they were maybe 25 cents each. Little packages, 25 cents off, you know, fancy paper clips. Don't even know what these are. Oh, is that like a drink? Anyway, the color was good. Who the heck knows what this is? Anyway, this one has a variety. A pen nib, a cat, a tree. Either that or it's one of those puzzles where you have to, you know, those puzzles that you have to figure out how to disconnect them. Scissors, anchor, I don't know, flowers. So there are those. I found this at Joann, and I would have bought more, of course, but they didn't have more. I think that these are going to be good. They are 3/8 of an inch in diameter. They're Velcro, and they, I think, will be good for, you know, closures on certain things. Now, it says removable, but we know that if we add glue, nothing is truly removable. I really like this. This was from Dollarama, if I'm not mistaken. I like them. I also, at Joann, bought this little iron. Now, I am really hoping that it works, since I'm no longer in the country and can return it or anything. It has a sole plate that does not have any holes, which is, I think, a plus when crafting, especially if I were to use it on melting wax. Haven't cracked it open yet, haven't tried to heat it up or anything like that. This was Hobby Lobby, Fabrifix, which we do have in Canada. I thought that even with the sales tax and the difference in our currency, that this was still pretty affordable. So I got one of those. Again, you know, same thing. We pay quite, you know, several dollars more for this here, gathered twigs. And someone was telling, I saw a YouTuber talking about this particular one. So I'm giving it a chance. I'll give it a try. I don't know that, I've never had it, that brand before. Okay, $2.50 for this set of stamps from Forever in Time. What is it called? What is it called? I do not know. I think, oh, this would have been from a flea market as well. So it's got, you know, a variety of things that I like, these swirly, flourishy kind of things, some frames, a couple of stamps. So I'm thinking that's a winner. This, I think I paid $1 for at that art supply place. Now, the theme is children, but as we know, not every one of these is limited. I mean, clearly there are some that are, like, these are a few of my favorite things. You don't have to put that in a kid's book. The most fulfilling gift of life itself is to know that we are loved unconditionally. Well, there's no age limit on that, so I'm sure there are many of those that I can use. In December, I bought something from an Etsy seller, and it came with, okay, what was it? I think she attached a thank you note or whatever to this envelope that she had put my purchase in. And I was able to peel the tape off without lifting any of the surface below. And I'm thinking, this is a miracle. What is it? What is it? Daughter-in-law had a roll of this at her house. Did some experimenting on a on some paper and on a box there. And it seemed to be able to lift without damaging the surface below. So I bought a 3-pack of this and hope that that is going to be good. If you can imagine, I have never owned any of these people, these paper dolls. Now these are the minis because I thought I'm more likely to use them. I frankly don't buy every Tim Holtz thing under the sun. Number one, because I think much of it is overpriced. And number two, I think it's our duty as crafters to sort of, you know, make our own mark, do our own, you know, set a style or establish a style, discover our style. And if everybody is using all the same stuff, it just seems like it all starts to look the same too. So I don't know. I could be wrong about that. It's just, I don't know, maybe a bit of a crusade to see what I can do without Tim Holtz. This was 50 cents, and it's clearly an IKEA thing. I haven't even opened it, but I like the idea that some of those stencils, I guess they intended it for stenciling on some of their furniture or whatever, but I don't care about that. But look at these cool hands. Like sometimes you just need a thumbs up. And sometimes you need a man and a woman stencil. Now these are not overly thick, but I'm thinking for 50 cents, I can certainly give them a try. This, I think, was another, yeah, I think that's a Target type label. These are spray bottles, and hopefully, you know, kind of a soft spray to them. They feel like glass, but they don't really. Maybe just thick plastic. Oops. So I will try those and see if they're good. I bought these two stencils. Who knows where? They're home decor show-offs, $3.49. And I like, this kind of reminds me of William Morris type design or Art Nouveau. And of course, who doesn't love a fleur-de-lis? I love intricate patterns, so I think these are going to be great. So we'll see what happens with those. This was from the antique market. Eyelets, a variety of colors. I paid $1. The package is intact. And I'm thinking that for $300, that, and I don't know the diameter, but or the size, but I hope that they look similar to the ones that, you know, obviously work with the Crop-A-Dile, Big Bite. So I think I've expressed in the past my frustration with, you know, how often they don't seem to finish nicely at the back. So I will be experimenting with those. While we were at my son's house, we were also able to place an order to Amazon, have it delivered, and yeah, receive it before we were leaving. So I didn't really know if this was going to be worth the money or not. Oh, by the way, this is a set of feather dies. And I just kind of experimented with this because this purchase is, I believe it was 14 of these little envelopes. And, you know, again, let me try, where's my ruler? I think they're just 5 by, yeah, 6 3/4 by 0.5. So these are very thin magnet sheets, like I think it was 3 millimeters. They also came in a 5 millimeter size. But, you know, in the video, they were demoing how they had all these things on them and they weren't falling off. So I thought, well, that's good enough for me. I just want them to kind of, you know, stay a little bit orderly. So because I had bought the feathers, I was able to try it. Now, I will be putting my, you know, smaller dies. Oh, pretty stinky. Like, I don't know if it's the off gas from the magnet or the plastic or both, but yeah. Need some air, guys. I will see how far I get with putting some of my smaller dies on there. It is a bit of a drag with the flap. I may get reckless and just cut the flap off. Who knows? I need to figure out a place and a way to, you know, maybe stack them so it's just flip, 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 flip. I don't know. That'll be a work in progress. And once I get it figured out, I can show you what I ended up doing. I think that for today, that is going to be it. So again, a combination of some supplies that I bought and some encouragement to, you know, I guess that I feel that I'm unproductive if I'm not doing something. So whether I'm watching TV or, you know, on a road trip, it just felt like, oh, I'm accomplishing something because I deconstructed a couple of books and did some rough cutting and made a few things that just need a final step or maybe 2 steps, glue them shut and decorate them. I felt that I wasn't wasting time. I did manage to squeeze in a couple of naps each way. Or at least a nap each way. I'm going to call it a day for this one, but there will be more haul videos. At least 1, 2. I'm truly thrilled about one of the purchases that I made at a flea market. And I hope you will be too, because I can see those things ending up in my Etsy shop. I'll do a dedicated book haul. I will do one on my fancy dancy purchase. I have one on, not such a big one, on fabric and lace. I have to say that I found that, you know, like in Canada, even thrift store prices are getting to be a little up there. And again, I'm the queen of rationalization. I can say, okay, well, I paid $3 for this book and then add in the exchange and add in the sales tax. But what can you get for $3? Not a great deal. You know, you can spend that much on coffee, for heaven's sake. Double that on coffee. And where does that really get you? So again, part of me feels like, okay, I bought it secondhand. I got it for a steal of a deal. I mean, those really make a girl happy. But, you know, that's the way of the world. I am kind of shocked when in Canada, thrift stores charge GST, our goods and services tax. It's 5%. Alberta does not have a sales tax, so we save there. Or in the States, you know, each state has a tax. And I noticed that some of the secondhand purchases also had tax added to them. Well, it seems to me that unless they're brand new, somebody has already paid tax on them. So why are we paying tax again and again? Oh, I just caught sight of another purchase. At one of the thrift stores, we found a box, and I would say 99% full, of size 10 security envelopes, a box of 500. And I mean, those are the kind you use, you know, just in your daily life if you're mailing something to someone, as well as the crafting potential. And those were, you know, less than a penny each. So they may last for the rest of my life, but hey, a girl saves where she can. So again, I guess I'll stop rambling there and just encourage you to subscribe, to comment and like, and watch for the next few videos. I will also be starting an actual journal project. I mean, it's something that I have in the works, or maybe I'll be using this promise to you to show you the progress, to actually get it off the off the drawing board and into completion. So thank you for watching. Please tell your friends and relatives and anyone who listen that they really should be subscribing to my channel. And yeah, one of these days I'll be doing an Etsy share, because of course a lot of this stuff that I bought with the sole purpose of repackaging, sharing with you. So as those things get into my shop, now that I'm back home, back at it, back in action, as I get those things done, I will, you know, do a video and probably a how-to, you know, showing some possibilities of how to use some of these things as well. So with that, thank you for spending time with me. All the best to you in 2023, you know, in the way of health and prosperity and lots of crafting time, and, you know, whatever your little heart desires. I hope you get it. Thank you. Bye-bye.